Alright, let's talk about the wireless industry, a sector so beloved by Americans that its customer service lines are basically a national form of rage therapy. This week, something truly seismic happened. Telecom giant AT&T, a company you may know from its charming habit of having its network vanish the moment you enter a basement, announced it was buying something from EchoStar for a staggering $23 billion. Yes, billion with a B. For that kind of money, you could buy a controlling stake in most medium-sized countries, or at the very least a lifetime supply of disappointment, which coincidentally is also what AT&T often provides. This wasn't a deal for stores or trucks or even a shiny new blimp, it was for something you can't even see. The news landed like a ton of bricks, or more accurately, like a dropped call during an important conversation. AT&T agreed to an all-cash deal to purchase wireless spectrum licenses from EchoStar, the parent company of Dish Network and Boost Mobile. EchoStar suddenly found itself on the receiving end of a massive payday. Now you might be hearing the word spectrum and thinking of the rainbow or the cable company that makes you want to throw your TV out the window. And while both are valid, in this context, it's something else entirely. Wireless spectrum refers to the invisible radio frequencies that wireless signals travel over. Think of it like a massive, invisible highway in the sky. Your phone calls your 5G data your desperate late-night food delivery orders. All of that information is bundled up and sent whizzing through the air on these specific frequency lanes. It's the foundational resource that makes your smartphone more than just a very expensive paperweight. Just like a real highway, this invisible one has a limited number of lanes, and every single wireless carrier, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, wants to own as many of those lanes as possible. The more spectrum a company controls, the more data it can carry, the faster its service can be, and the more customers it can handle without everything grinding to a halt. When your connection slows to a crawl at a crowded concert or sporting event, that's a spectrum traffic jam. Companies need a diverse portfolio of these frequencies. Low band for covering vast distances and mid-band for that sweet spot of speed and coverage. This is precisely why AT&T was willing to write a check with enough zeros to make an accountant weep. The deal specifically gives them access to about 50 megahertz of valuable mid-band and low-band spectrum. For years, EchoStar had been sitting on this treasure trove of licenses. This massive $23 billion deal didn't just materialize out of thin air. It was born from a high-stakes drama involving regulatory pressure and a very famous rocket man. EchoStar had been in hot water with the FCC, the agency that acts as the traffic cop for the airwaves. The FCC has a simple rule: use it or lose it. According to critics, EchoStar was doing exactly that. Who led the complaints? Elon Musk, SpaceX. SpaceX argued EchoStar was squatting on the 2 GHz band using less than 5% of what a real operator would. SpaceX, building its own satellite internet service, wanted the FCC to revoke EchoStar's licenses and open the spectrum to new satellite entrants. It morphed into a corporate battle dressed as public interest. EchoStar fired back, the FCC launched an investigation. The clock was ticking, pressure was mounting. Just when you thought this corporate saga couldn't get any more bizarre, former President Donald Trump, that's right, the man who once stared directly at a solar eclipse, also has strong opinions on mid-band spectrum allocation. In June, with the FCC's pressure on EchoStar intensifying, Trump decided to step in and play mediator. He reportedly prodded both Charlie Ergen Brendan Carr to find a way to resolve the dispute amicably. This is a bit like your landlord calling a meeting with you and the city inspector to work things out after your ceiling has collapsed. The intervention was surprisingly direct. According to reports, Trump held a meeting with Ergen on June 12, then looped in Carr via phone call. The clear goal was to broker a truce that would save EchoStar from the threat of having its licenses revoked by the FCC. Why the presidential interest? Trump has long championed the idea of having strong American-owned 5G networks. Perhaps he saw letting EchoStar's assets fall into regulatory limbo or worse, be scooped up by competitors in a fire sale. The presidential nudge seems to have been a pivotal moment. So, what does this all mean for the average person who just wants to watch cat videos on the bus without endless buffering? For AT&T customers, the news is potentially very good. With a fatter portfolio of spectrum, the company has the raw materials to enhance its network capacity and speed. This could translate into more reliable 5G coverage, faster download speeds, and a network that doesn't buckle under pressure in crowded areas. It's a massive upgrade to their core infrastructure, leading to a better experience for millions of people. But what about EchoStar? Not at all. The deal also includes an enhanced partnership for Boost Mobile. EchoStar will continue to own and operate Boost Mobile, but it will now run primarily on AT&T's supercharged network. That turns EchoStar into a hybrid mobile network operator, or MNO. They keep customers and brand without the expense of building a national network. This hybrid model could shift the American wireless market. For consumers, that could mean more plan choices and pricing options. It separates the service you buy from the network it runs on. Ultimately, this $23 billion deal is a game changer, for AT&T a strategic masterstroke for the next decade.